I sometimes wonder why all the hate for Kiss? Why does everybody like to shit on Kiss? And so I was thinking the other day, by the way, I'm Pete Pardo from Sea of Tranquility. I was thinking the other day, wouldn't it be cool to do an episode of trying to figure out why so many people have a dislike for this band and like what are some of the reasons and try to have a little discussion on do any of these reasons have merit? Or maybe do I kind of understand why people really dislike this band for some of these reasons? Do I agree or not agree? It's not so much do I agree or not agree, but just trying to kind of like come up with that list of like why people crap all over Kiss and why people have for decades, right? Kiss has always been like one of those bands, you either get it or you don't, right? Possibly, right? To me, I've always been like, well, and we'll get through it. To me, they always had the songs, and all the other stuff was just all the other stuff. But a lot of people that I come into contact with that I talk to about Kiss, and they concentrate on all the other stuff. So we're going to talk about all the other stuff and whatnot in this episode. So, first and foremost, people tend to complain about the makeup. They look ridiculous. Why did they need to wear makeup? Well, I mean, makeup wasn't unheard of in rock music back in the early mid 70s, right? You had Alice Cooper doing it. David Bowie wore some stuff, right? You had Arthur Brown. So, a lot of the glam bands wore stuff. So this was not unheard of. However, none of them really wore it like this, right? The full face paint, right? Each one different character, those whole kind of kabuki look, right? Yeah, it was different. But I always felt they had the songs to back it up. But a lot of people get stuck on this kind of the appearance thing. And with the appearance, of course, not only was it all about the makeup, but they had these crazy costumes, right? Of course, Gene, the demon, Peter Criss, the cat, Ace Frehley, this space child, right? And of course, the star himself, Paul Stanley, Star Child, Space Ace, the cat, the demon. And throughout the years, those costumes morphed. I mean, jeans, look at jeans in particular. I mean, you can't really see too much from this shot here, but he had all the armor plates and those, dragon boots. To me, this was cool because I was a kid at the time, right? When Kiss was huge, 1976, 1977, 78. I'm 10, 11, 12 years old. I'm already into comic books and superheroes and supervillains and monsters and horror themes and all that kind of stuff. So to me, Kiss was like, all right, they're playing heavy, aggressive music, anthemic songs. They look like comic book characters. It's like, to me, no brainer. But people are like, it's all this image, but nothing backing it up. To me, there's a lot backing it up, right? What else that people hated about Kiss? Well, it just so happens that right around the time where they started to get really, really popular, of course, this whole idea of being overexposed. So, of course, they went out and did Kiss Meets the Phantom. When, when this was announced that it was coming out, of course, my hero's doing a movie, and I'm like, yes, this is going to be great. And then it fucking sucked. This movie is pretty terrible. I will agree. So right then and there, it's like, already the skeptics are kind of thinking maybe these guys should just stick to music. This is an abomination. And yes, this was pretty bad. But it didn't end there, folks. I mean, we've got toys, right? Action figures, dolls. We've got things like lunch boxes and thermoses. By this point in time, the marketing machine is going into hyper overdrive, right? Kiss is on everything. All the magazines, the posters, things like this, toys, games, puzzles, you name it. But, the guys didn't stop there. I mean, you look in even more recent years. You've got the Kiss coffin. Really? Is that really necessary? Because, Gene, especially Gene, both Gene and Paul, but Gene especially, he is the master manipulator. The guy, it's all about making more, 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 more money. So even in all the years since Kiss was like, a really, really big band, the marketing machine doesn't end. I mean, you got these guys who, and this is mind-boggling, went and opened up like a restaurant and brew house. And this picture is just ridiculous because you guys show them both with plates of food and beers. Neither one of them drink, right? So it's like, let's promote food and alcohol, right? Even though we don't drink alcohol. But hey, let's make some money, right? The Kiss restaurant. Let's make some money. Sure, that's what it's all about. Speaking of Gene, I mean, how many times has he put his foot in his mouth? Gene making comments about styles of music, genre of music, rock is dead, musicianship is dead, blah, blah, blah. Well, Gene, keep your mouth shut, buddy. Keep your mouth shut. Because a lot of times his statements and opinions have been pretty far out there and pretty wrong. Another thing that drives a lot of people crazy about Kiss, the infighting. All right. Remember their appearance on the Tom Snyder show, and Ace was probably half in the bag, and you could see the look, the glare coming from Gene, especially, and Paul, every time Ace started yakking away and laughing. And of course, Tom Snyder was kind of like, what the hell is going on here? You knew trouble was brewing here. And over the years, it's gotten even worse. I mean, there have been all sorts of battles between Paul and Gene with Ace or with Peter, right? In the band, out of the band, in the band, out of the band, reunion, not reunion. He said this, she said that. It's not reliable, reliable, didn't play good, all this sort of thing. After a while, it gets old. These bands who constantly fight get old. Look at all the stuff going on with Journey right now. It's like enough already. Enough already. How about, another thing that often comes up, and that is basically, the music, right? Bad albums, music from the Elder, Unmasked, Hot in the Shade, right? These albums that, yeah, sure, there are some fans that love these records, but I remember at the time, early Kiss fans, loyal Kiss fans from the get-go, uh, were crapping all over these albums. Stop listening to the band because of some of these albums, right? All these years later, you look back on a lot of those 80s records and early 90s records, and there's plenty to love on all of them. But the general public kind of outgrew this band because it really started with this. So, of course, when Dynasty came out with that single, I Was Made for Loving You, Kiss embracing some disco themes on that song. Oh, Kiss has gone disco. They've let us down. Our hard rock and heavy metal heroes have sold out. They're doing disco now. That album is terrible. It's a disco album. It's not a disco album. There are disco elements in that song. The rest of the album is not like that at all. But here's where it started, and this whole thing, this whole idea of Kiss following trends, right? Disco's popular. Let's do some disco in our music, right? Oh, glam metal, hair metal, whatever you want to call it. Oh, we need to follow that trend. Here we go. All throughout the 80s. The look, right? They look like Twisted Sister here. How about in the 90s? Oh, grunge. Let's grow beards and look a little, serious and doomy and whatnot. Follow that trend too. So, you know, Kiss is like kind of on their own to come up with all these reasons why people will cut them down and say, this is the worst band in the world. They just can't do anything right. Right? Overexposure, right? They're everywhere. Right? That's playing the Super Bowl. Sure, why not? But ultimately, I think it's all just a matter of, to me, it's you either like the songs or you don't. And unfortunately, a lot of people focused on all this other stuff. When in reality, all of us Kiss defenders, we go back to the songs, right? I mean, you can listen to any of those early albums For me, I mean, everything pretty much up to Dynasty, and including a lot of Dynasty. I actually like Dynasty quite a bit. All those albums just contain great songs. And for people who complain that, oh, the band could never play their instruments and whatnot, it's like the music was always simple, but it was supposed to be. There were plenty of other bands who played simplistic, kind of Neanderthal hard rock with pop hooks in it. I mean, that's basically what Kiss is. A lot of that early AC/DC stuff is no different. You look at like Montrose and lots of other bands during the 70s, right? Played simple, especially American bands, played simple rock music, right? Big guitars, catchy hooks, memorable songs. Yeah, maybe the guitar solos weren't the best. Van Halen came along and threw all that up in the air. It's like, all right, we're going to throw in all this virtuoso stuff, right? But plenty of bands were playing simple hard rock music. So you have to wonder if you take away all this other stuff, if they never had the makeup, never had the outrageous costumes, didn't do the lunch boxes and all that stuff, but still played the same songs. Would they have ever been as big a band? Maybe not, right? Because the image had a lot to do with it. Was the 70s. Outlandish is always good in the 70s. But I think the music's always still would have stood out. And albums like, Kiss and Dress to Kill and Hotter Than Hell and Destroyer and Love Gun and, all those albums, Rock and Roll Over. I think those still would be looked at pretty fondly by hard rock fans. They may not have been million sellers. The band might not have played stadiums and whatnot, but I still think that they would have been very successful, just maybe not on this level. And I think because of, even though most of us dislike him for it, I think because of Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley's thirst for promoting their brand all these decades has kept the name Kiss alive within the general public. And I think if it wasn't for all that, uh, they would probably not necessarily be a forgotten band, but would anybody be talking about Kiss? Probably not. I still love them. All right. I can see why people don't based on a lot of these reasons. And I have it many times in my life kind of laughed and chuckled and cast them aside because of some of this stuff too. But ultimately, I always come back to them because I still, when it comes down to it, I like the music, I like the songs. And as a kid, I love the image thing. Right now, I don't really give too much. I don't really care too much about the image thing, but I still come back for the songs. And to me, that's the important thing. There was an energy about it, memorable songs. Were they the greatest musicians on the face of the earth? No. But Ace was always a really cool guitar player. Gene's bass is always big up in the mix. Paul's always a pretty good singer. In fact, I like the fact they all have individual voices. So when they sang, you heard all these differences. To me, it works. Will they ever be, in my mind, as great a band as a Black Sabbath or a Led Zeppelin or a Judas Priest or whatnot? Maybe not quite. But as the first band I ever really got into, I always will hold them in high regard and owe them a great deal of gratitude for getting me into the style of music that would carry me through my entire life, pretty much. So all this other stuff, I don't take it too seriously, but I know a lot of people kind of put the X on them because of that. So if you're one of them, hey, I get it. But like I said, in the end, it's all about the albums, the songs, and I think that there's a lot of great music in the Kiss catalog. But yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that people can focus on to not even want to give the music a chance. So totally understand it. Don't really agree with all of it, but I get it. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options, all available down below. Thanks to all of you who do contribute. It's greatly appreciated, and we do recognize you. Thanks again, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.